Team, good evening.
Hey, how's
Hey,
everybody?
how's it? Great. How are you doing, Joe?
Good. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I just finished up a recitation for the MBA course that I'm teaching and was talking about fee for service versus alternative payment models and fun subject to talk about. How's everybody doing? Doing okay? Great.
Great.
Are we recording? Let me double check here. Yes. Yes, cloud recording is on. Great. Okay. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything to talk about? Sounds good. Well, then I will hop on here. I will share my screen and go through this. And this will not take the full hour. Hopefully, we'll be done in 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll get you all on to other things tonight. Can you see this, everyone? Is this can you see okay, great.
Yep.
And please, please, please interrupt me. Ask any questions as we go along. So, what we're going to talk about is our mentors, the reflected best self exercise, and then talking about creating your vision and your mission statement. So, everybody, we've paired with an academic mentor, a coach, a mentor, or whatever, and they're there for you. Hopefully, you've all at least made contact with them. I try to touch base with them frequently if you can, and I'd love for you to work with to help that use them and show them your best self exercise as you go through that, and get their opinion and their feedback on that, and develop a relationship with them so that you'll have that moving forward. Okay, so I ask you to all to read how to play to your strengths, and this was an exercise that, as I said in my email, that we did in the executive MBA, and Peter Rubin did it. And it was interesting. He and I were just chatting about this, and he said, he goes, yeah, he goes, that was one of my favorite exercises. And he goes, I still look back, occasionally at that. And so hopefully you all will feel the same way. So what it does is ultimately it will help you remember your strengths. It will help you construct a plan moving forward to build on your strengths. It might help you understand some weaknesses or where you could develop a greater strength. And when you are going through a challenging time or addressing difficulties in the future, this may help you gain some confidence by going back and looking at your best self. And from a pragmatic point of view, this is really good, this data, to use for interviews. So I looked at a couple of positions and they always ask you the question like, "Well, tell us about your strengths," and people give some ridiculous answer or tell me about your weaknesses, and you always find a strength and then try to dress it up as a weakness. But this will really give you this data, and when we talk about the product that I hope you get out of this, what you can, when you can give somebody in 30 seconds, you can tell them about your best self. You can say, well, I took this formal leadership course where we studied the Harvard Business Review article about my best self, and this is what I learned by this global 360 and self-evaluation. So it pragmatically, it's a great thing to talk about during an interview. So what I hope you work on over the and this entire course is a 2 or 3 page write-up that has 4 parts to it. One is a self-portrait. and we'll get into this in a second, but it's what you work on while you're waiting for feedback from others to come in. The second one is to summarize the feedback you get from others. And then the third part is integrating both your self-portrait and your feedback and answering the question, when I am my best self, one, who am I? Two, what are my strengths? And three, what skills do I use? And then the fourth part is how you're going to take this information and what action steps you're going to move forward with. And the pragmatic little, like, what can you say on an interview? When they say, well, tell us about your leadership style, or tell us about, your strengths, or something, you can always say, well, like I said, I was taking this leadership course, we did this HBR exercise called My Best Self. And I learned that, who am I? Well, I am this. And my strengths are, these are my secret weapons. These are my superpowers. And then the skills that I use to when I'm my best self. And it's a great answer to that question on an interview. Okay, so um I'm going to pull up, I'm going to give you all this document. Can you all see this document now? I can't see you. If somebody can just,
Yes. Yep.
okay,
Yep.
thanks. So these are the instructions that I believe I already uploaded, but if not, I will do. This is what I want you to do. It kind of like goes through what the project is, the four parts on how to do it. And then I've given you a sample letter. This is one that I use. This is Scott. It was to Scott Hollenbeck at the time because he was a colleague. So what I want you to do is to ask about 25 colleagues, send out an email and say, hey, for my MBA class, or for the leadership class that we're taking in organizational behavior section, I'm required to perform a reflected best self. And then can I please ask you to send me your thoughts about my strengths, accompanied by a couple of specific examples of moments when I've used those strengths in ways that were meaningful and made important contributions. And it's really great, the feedback that you'll get. And so what I suggest is that you ask this of, use this as a well-rounded 360. So ask those that report to you. Maybe ask a couple senior residents and your program coordinator and your assistant. Ask your colleagues, some of your peers, and then ask your department chair, or whoever you report to, the hospital CEO, or whatever your situation is. Like, get a full, and you can, and ask some family members too. So you get a full, well-rounded picture of your best self. Questions about that? It's a great exercise, and I think you'll learn a lot about yourself. Remember, I mean, the success is to know yourself and then to regulate yourself. And unless you know it's hard to do that. And this will really give you a good picture of what you are when you are at your best self.
Joe, is there a suggested number of people that you feel is a good number to ask for feedback?
Good question. We do this. I do this with we have a senior residence and leadership academy that is running every month. And I tell them to ask about 25, because even if you get, 15 to 20 back, a lot of them will give you very short little answers, and some will give you larger. So I think if you ask 25, 20 to 25, and you do this over the whole year, you can ask 10 or 15, and if you get 10, 15 robust answers, that's probably enough. Depends on how much you want to dig in. But that's how I think when I did this, I probably ask about 20. And then So part one of this is I want you to think about that, right? I want you to think about it. Just read the instructions, and you create your own portion while you're getting the feedback in from other. Part two is synthesizing what folks said about you. Part three is combining the two, integrating your personal vision and what everyone else says and answering those three questions. And then four, like, what do you want to do about it? How is this going to help you moving forward? Okay. The other thing I'd love for you to think about over the next few months is a vision and a mission statement. And I'll tell you why. Some people think this is hokey. I don't. I think it's very important. Um, your vision is your purpose, your what, and your mission is your plan, your how. And we can define mission and vision in different ways. I mean, this is just after the research I've done and articles I've read and synthesized. This is the way I think of it. So your vision and your mission, your purpose and your plan, your what am I, and then how am I going to accomplish that? Your vision is your purpose. Who am I? Why am I here? Like, what do I want to be? Like, what do I want to accomplish in my life? It's amazing. You sit down and ask yourself these questions and really think about it. It can be challenging. It's sort of like, it's a good question. Like, what am I? Like, what am I doing? Like, what's my, why? And then my mission is, well,
Shut up.
exactly. How, how, it's been a great day. I've had a lot of excitement in the Office of Faculty Affairs. This is just continues. And then your mission is like, how am I going to get there? What's my path? What's my plan? What's my goals? So I love this. This is from the Old Testament. I can't remember which book it is in the Old Testament, but it says, without a vision, the people perish. And I really think, unless you know where you're going, then any path will get you there. So I think that once you figure out what your vision is, nurturing that vision or your purpose can result in passion and resilience and can help fight burnout. And so what's cool about this is that it changes over time. And I'll share a little personal example. Your vision and your purpose will change over time. There are seasons to your life and your career, and you can have a personal vision and mission, and you can have a professional one as well. And they change. So again, your purpose is the output. The plan is the input. I love thinking about it that way. So how do you figure this out? Well, the articles I've read about this, are interesting because sometimes you build your vision and your purpose, and sometimes it's found. Sometimes it's given to you. Sometimes you cultivate it and you grow it, like in my case, and from focusing on what's meaningful. But sometimes fate will deliver a higher calling. If your 5-year-old gets shot in kindergarten and dies, right? Like Sandy Hook, those people, fate delivered their vision for many of them, right? I mean, a traumatic event or even mentorship driven. Like, how many people do you know? Like, I'll love to tell this story. Jim Higgins, you all know Jim. He was a co-resident of mine. We went to medical school together. He was going to be a family medicine doctor until he met Joe Cerletti. Fate gave him a higher calling. I mean, it's a great story. And it doesn't have to be one thing. Like I said, it can be a professional, a personal, a recreational vision and mission. So why write it out? I personally think it helps identify and define your values. It helps set milestones and goals for you, and it gives you kind of guardrails to prevent wandering off the path, And I think I probably told you all a couple of years ago, I went through a difficult patch personally, at work mostly. And I had to look back at my vision and to say, like, why am I here? What is going on? And it'll help keep your focus. And some people in articles will say you should print it out and you should put it by, in your office. So anyway, when I did this, when I went through this and did it for myself, I thought about all of this and I worked on it. And then, like, I drafted something, let it set and stew for a week or, and then got back at it and kept working on it and read some more about it. And this is what this is my current professional vision: to continue evolving as a leader in academic medicine inspiring and facilitating those students, trainees, and faculty in overcoming challenges and obstacles to help their dreams come true. And I can't, I'm not making this up. When I read that, I get this inside, like, yes, that's it. That's why I get out of bed in the morning. That's why I'm here at 8 o'clock at night. I mean, this is me. This makes me like, I love, this is who I am. This is my vision. This is my why. And then I was reading it like, I don't know, 6 months later, something, it dawned on me. What is not in this vision statement? Somebody, what's not in this vision statement? It's a professional one. It's got nothing to do with my husband and my kid and all that. This is my professional one. What's not in here?
How?
What's that?
How?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you, Tim.
Being a surgeon isn't in it?
Yeah, there's nothing about patients or surgery. Now, you guys, didn't know me when I started, 25 years ago. But I left Rochester and came to Pitt for one reason, and that was to do more craniofacial surgery. I moved because I wanted to do more big, you know, complicated craniofacial cases. And it was all about surgery. I mean, it was, and it dawned on me like months after I wrote this, like it has nothing to do with patients. Now, I still enjoy patient care. I did 2 cases today. I mean, I love taking care of kids with clefts, but my vision statement has nothing to do with surgery anymore. And you know what? Every time I read it, I feel really great about it because that's who I am right now. My plan is what's important to you. And so when you write out the plan, like how you're going to do it, well, what's important? What's your passions? What are your values? What are your relationships? This is a great, I love this. I've kept this. This picture, you can see the academic offices at the University of Pennsylvania, 1999. This was my plan. In 1 to 3 years, I want to be an associate professor. I want to be a member of the association. I want to write a book on comprehensive cleft care, on and on and on. I want to get a master's. I want to have leadership roles in ACAPS when it was spelled correctly. The ASCSF. In 10 years, I want to be a professor. Baba, and so you draft your goals, and talk to your mentors about it. Talk to the mentors that you've been assigned. Do a SWOT analysis of your life and of your career, and you'll be able to do it. So your vision, again, is your purpose. What gives you meaning? What are your values? What are you passionate about? What do you dream about? What do you want your obituary to say? This is your obituary. This is your legacy. And then how are you going to do it? Write out your 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 10 year old plans. And I just think it's about being intentional. Because, I remember when I was a junior attending, Mike Longacre came as a visiting professor, and he said this, and I wrote it down, and it's been like burned in my memory. Um, Dreams don't come true, plans do. It's just something I think about. And we're the choices that we make. So anyway, that's it. It only took 20 minutes. Um, Thoughts about my best self and your vision and mission, or the whole course, or anything at all? Nothing?
Hey Joe,
Yeah, yeah.
for the PowerPoint and the instructions on the RBS, looking at the AMLA resource link on the AAPS website, all I see is modules 1 through 12. Is there going to be somewhere where you put
It,
this information for the recitation?
yes, I think, and maybe I just dreamt I did it. I thought I put it under the mod one. I will look at that later, Chris. I will do that. I will make sure I put this PowerPoint and the instructions for the my best self. I'll put those 2 things on there. And I'll upload, let me show you one other thing. I'll upload the most recent 5:03. Can you all see this now? This is the updated May 3rd. I'll probably update it even more and load this up too. This is our schedule. Tonight is My Best Self. Next Thursday night, I'm so excited. You get to meet well, one of my teachers and now a friend, Dave LaBelle, who's a professor of organizational behavior, got his PhD at Penn. He now teaches in the Katz Business School here at Pitt. And he wins the teaching award almost every year. And he's going to talk to you about motivational therapy, a theory. Then we're going to the next week have a recitation on leading change, and there will be an HBR article. And so these are some of the recitations coming up. And you get 3 sessions with Dave LaBelle. Decision making, cognitive biases. That's a great talk. Organizational culture. These are all areas that he's an expert in, and I'll upload that as well. So I'll do that probably early tomorrow morning. I'll upload those 3 things to the website, and I'll probably just email them to you as well, just so you get them both ways. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Joe, with the RBS, you mentioned sort of a little bit of a timeline. Are we going to circle back around to this at the next association meeting and talk about it as a group, or
Yeah.
or
I gotta
before?
think about that. Um, at the last module, which will be in the next, so we're sort of building this plane as we fly it, right? So if you think of the next association, we'll have mods 1, 2, and 3, and 10, 11, and 12 at the same time. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how that works out. And then after your last module, we're going to have a reception, like a little graduation kind of party. And so what I've done with other groups is that everybody gets 5 minutes to to share a very quick 1 slide. uh, when I'm my best self, who am I? What skills do I use? Those 3 questions, just one-liner kind of thing. And then what your mission or your vision is. Mission, you don't have to share, but what's your vision? What's your vision statement? What does it look like for you? I'd love to read it for you guys. And then and so what we could do, I don't want to do that we don't have time at the last session, but what we could do is we could do a couple of recitations, and everybody could take 5 minutes and go over that. I really that maybe that's a good idea, unless you guys come up with a different way to do that. Maybe we could just get everybody, try to organize all the mentors and all the teachers and everybody get on, and there's 20 of you, and so if everybody has 5 minutes, what's that? That's 100, right? Yeah, that's 100 minutes. So maybe a couple of sessions, and go through that.
One suggestion.
Yeah.
One suggestion, Joe, could be, so we don't maybe have vision fatigue, is maybe it could be spread out depending as those responses come in. We could do a couple each month or something like that is maybe one way to do it. So it kind of focuses and we have more time to reflect on each other's visions and stuff. It's like 4 at a time or 5 at a time, maybe, for a more digestible bit. I don't know. Just an idea.
That's a good idea, Michael. That's maybe, in the last few months for recitations, we could, whatever the topic is, we'll take 5 or 10 minutes and 2 people can kind of go over my best self, those 3 questions, and then their vision statement, that might be cool. So whenever folks get done with it, they can report out on it. It's a good idea. We can think about it. We have some time. I just finished the senior residents and fellows thing, and everybody, it was a 3-hour session. Everybody took about 5 minutes or so, and these are all the senior residents and fellows that are going into academic medicine, and they shared their best self and their vision statements, and it was really powerful. It was really great, and hopefully you find some kind of meaning out of it. And this is again, you're all pretty senior leaders. I mean, this is really great if you have junior faculty that you're working with, or you're a mentor for folks, or residents. Like this would be a great session for you all to do for your residents or for your junior faculty. Have a faculty retreat or a resident retreat doing this kind of stuff and then sharing it so people get to know one another. I've seen it be meaningful for those things as well. Great. Okay. Well, I hope you all have a great evening. And any questions or anything comes up, just call me.
Joe, just one more quick follow-up, I think, from
Yeah.
the text chain. I think you were looking into finding an emotional IQ instrument that we all might be able to use on ourselves. And I'll follow up on that as another assessment maybe for us.
Yes, I have. And it's called the EQI, and we can pay for it. The course will pay for it. And I found a coach that I teach with in another class who is in private practice, and he has the tool. And I just have to thank you for reminding me. And I will get him. I'll get all of your email addresses to him, and he'll send out the assessment, and then we'll get him to do a recitation to kind of go over it so you all can digest it. It's great. That's another
Awesome.
good thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. I got my homework. Anything else? Okay, well then enjoy the rest of the night and the weekend. Thank you guys for joining. Talk to you next week.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe.